Server restart in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so here we are again.
Okay.
Again.
Okay.
Are we?
Yes.
Maybe.
I mean, we could. We could just stop. We don't have to start.
But so much stuff has happened.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, it'll be old news. But
But it's not
Yeah.
old news now.
yesterday, right? Blizzard announced that they were going to delay the release of Shadowlands
Without a date.
Without a date. So it's no longer out on the 26/27th. It's an indefinite date, but they did say sometime this year. They did announce the date for when 9.01 drops.
Is that the pre-patch?
Well, it's pre-patch, but it's not the pre-patch events.
Right. It's not the pre-launch events, but
Right.
it's all the other stuff.
It's all the class changes and the system changes and all that stuff.
Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
even start the events.
No,
No, they're not going to start the events until closer to the actual release.
because the events suck.
No, that's a personal
It
opinion.
is a personal opinion.
But it,
That is
so
subjective.
that's not coming out until I guess a few weeks before the release, so we don't know when that's coming out. But yeah, if anybody decided that they wanted to read up on that announcement, Blizzard put a post out on the forums, and
I read the forums.
and it was
They were terrible.
It was
was a shit show.
hilarious.
Oh, yeah, not to steal from somebody else, but yeah, it was horrendous. It was very bad.
It varied, right? You had
Yeah,
people going,
yeah.
"Good job, thanks for doing this," blah, blah, blah. Everybody's like, "Oh, I can't get my fucking vacation back.
I
And it's
want
just like-
my money back.
I want a
And
refund."
they opened up refunds, too.
Well, yeah. Which I mean,
Did they open up refunds for Shadowlands, the X pack, or just did they open up refunds for like people who resubbed to the game for the
I think it was just
that I don't
Shadowlands.
know.
Just Shadowlands?
I
Okay.
know.
Because
I read
that's the
about,
email
but-
we got. You know what I'm saying? Because we pre-purchased Shadowlands, so that's what I believe what the refund's for.
Yeah.
Which I mean, okay. I mean, sure, you get your money back now, and then you buy it again.
Yeah, I know.
when
That
you come
seems
and play,
really
and it's
dumb.
Just like,
Honestly, it feels like if you ask for your
you
money
never
back.
know. You never know what
for-
people's situation
Sure,
is.
that's true. That's true. Some people could be,
But
if you're in that dire of straits,
why did you
that
buy it in the first place?
Right. I
If-
mean,
Well, it
if-
could be a
if-
situation
what?
where somebody saves their money for it when they don't have much money to save in the first place.
that's what I mean, though. If you don't have that much money to in the first place for it, shouldn't you be spending that money on the things that you need to
Well, okay,
have
so
that?
in that case, in that situation, you could just say that person has taken care of everything they need, and they set the goal to save money for Shadowlands. I mean,
Right, but they've already
it's-
set that money aside and saved it, so it doesn't impact their regular bottom line.
I mean, you're talking about like this one group of people out of this many people.
right? No,
that-
that's a very, and again, that's a
Well, it's
very,
very specific.
a very small niche of people
Yeah.
who, are now out whatever amount of money it was, and they don't get to play their game on the 26th. And how many of those people?
It's not that the game is never coming out. It's just not coming out when it was expected to come out.
Well, and that's just it. How many of those people bought it before the October 26th date was
Right.
revealed?
Well, let's be fair. Let's be fair too. Like, the fact is, they delayed it. They delayed the pre-patch with the event start. I'm sorry, delayed the event start, not the pre-patch itself.
E.
And then we don't have a date, even though they say later this year. Did they say later this year?
Yes.
Was that official?
yes.
Yeah.
So what's
So-
funny?
Well,
is-
here's my point. Like, they delayed it without a date. That means we have up to the last day of the year,
Right.
which chances are they're going to release it before Christmas starts
Right.
for sure. and chances are, if they're anything like any of the organizations we've worked for, nobody's going to do anything between Thanksgiving and
Right.
Christmas. So it's probably going to come out, early November.
That's what I think too. Early November.
Well, as far as the whole not working over the holidays and all that stuff, it's also a different environment than it's been before because everybody's working from home. So they may
Well,
have.
that's the scary part about it, because I could see it going over across the New Year as well.
Right.
Sure. But so do you remember we talked briefly about that a few episodes ago? We talked about that article where the guy was like, oh, they split the pre-patch up into two different things, blah, blah, blah. You remember that, Brian?
Yeah.
And how it wasn't really like what they painted it out to be. I think that when they announced that, this is what they had in mind. That they had the 9.01 ready and locked for the...
Oh, I see, yeah.
For,
so dropping that first.
Dropping
and
the
then,
pre-patch, so everything that's not Shadowlands directly related, so they could... That's finalized, because that's pretty much already been there. Because they're not delaying that portion of it much more than whatever. So they may have been planning this from the beginning. So because they have their other branch that they're working on, that's all the Shadowlands stuff, giving them more time. So this could have been tactical.
I wish that they would have delayed the class changes as well as the pre-patch event, because some classes are really jacked up.
Well,
And
So before we dig into that part, I will say, I think the fucked up part about it is that more than a month out, with the scale and the size and the complexity of a change in this type of piece of software, when you can't make it more than a month out.
I mean,
I think that's what's the fucked up part.
well,
Because consider that time frames between what was going to be the release date and then up to Thanksgiving, right? And then after Thanksgiving up to Christmas is another 3 weeks. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of time in there. Why didn't they just give us another date and be done with it? And then on top of that, sprinkle out some fucking beta invites so you can actually get feedback to help progress it further and quicker.
they did do more beta invites.
Wow, that's bullshit. I didn't get
Because
one.
Jim got one. Finally, Jim got a beta invite. Not that he's touching it, but
I don't want them spoilers.
I
if they knew they were going to push it out, I guess my point is, if they knew they were going to push it out, they should have announced it already, because especially at the turn of the month of the month it's going to come out,
well, I think
for me,
I think
I've
they're
been through
avoiding giving another date just because what if they had to push it back again? I mean, push it back once and you're like, okay, that's cool. You want the game to be right and you want it to come out and be bug free, and there's a lot of bugs still.
That's fair, but the fact is now, before they create more bugs, they can predict most of what they have left. And at this point in development, they should be able to predict all the major things they have left to finish and iron out.
Yeah. Sure. And they should, so one of the big things with leveling in Shadowlands coming up is that you're following one main story, right? And the areas are all linear. You go to one, to the next, to the next, to the next. And that's, how you're fed the story. But there's still some bugs in there that stop you from progressing.
I think there was a bug where, if you're doing group quests, you do 2 or 3 of them, then you have to log out and log back in to be able to do any more.
Well, see, that's crazy. If that were the case, if there was that much in the more simplistic pieces of the game that they already have, right, functionality for, and they have those type of bugs, right? That means that they're not in there just tuning and scaling what they need to do to get the content, the in-game content done and ready, right? They're in there still doing
Oh yeah.
leveling stuff. Like
Yeah.
a month. We're less than a month out, and you announced this. Like,
I mean,
you knew that this was not going to make it on time. Well, over a month ago from now, right?
right.
That's just the fact.
I mean, they say that they're trying to do the end game stuff, but I think that was that's what they said in the article for when they announced it, that they were trying to do, fix like the end game systems and stuff like that. But that's all spin. I mean, that's all, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if they're working on
sure,
the
they're
other
probably
stuff,
working on that stuff too, but there's still a lot of other stuff that needs to be fixed. So sure, they're not addressing everything that needs to be fixed. They are addressing some things that need to be fixed. There's nothing in the maw. Like, you go into the maw. I've been into the maw for a couple of quests. There's nothing in there. There's like, and I don't know if it's easier for me because I'm a druid and I stealth through and stealth past everything.
Tanan Jungle? Is it going to be like that?
I mean, it's more desolate than Tanan Jungle was.
it could just be the way they have their beta client set up too.
Sure.
Like, they don't necessarily want to have everything in there to be.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, though. That'd be nice.
Maybe it's a little bit sparse right now, or a lot of things
But-
that would normally happen because they're not worried about testing that right now or something. I don't know.
I guess, but I mean, wouldn't you want everything tested before you put out a product?
mean, some
I was
things-
kind of hoping with the beta being open to the people that are invited, that maybe like if they would still have secrets to bring with it, right? And they typically do, like the mounts and shit like that. But like in that case, I would kind of hope that was something like that. Yeah, they're still testing it, right? They're just not having the plebs test it.
They still need to fix Quest XP, because as it is now, if you don't have War Mode on, even with War Mode on and fully like lore mastering every quest, you only get to like 58 and like 75.75 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, like their quest, and there's a finite amount of quests. It's not like, so you either have to
So what
grind,
do you have to do? Grind
or
to
do
60?
dungeons, or I don't know what they're expecting, but I mean, sure, we'll do War Mode on for our first character, but subsequent characters, I'm not going to do War Mode on for them.
That's news to me. I'm excited, but that's news to me.
What? We did War Mode on when we did Legion leveling, because we were in the first wave.
BFA?
BFA, sorry. Because we were in the first wave of people, so we didn't have to worry about it. It's the subsequent characters after all of the alts after that you have to
tell me
worry
about it.
about the 120s coming at you and killing you while you're trying to level.
You know what's funny? I got on my Alliance character. I was trying to find Jim earlier. While he was
You son of a bitch.
I forgot about
I've had so many people kill my DKs as I'm leveling, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It's like,
I forgot about the sharding or whatever the fuck they do.
Yeah. It's
even
kind of
even if you're on the same thing, like I would log off and log on to Gal to come over and try and kill some of those people, and it would, like, I wouldn't even see my other character's body there, so I'm like, okay, well, there was one demon hunter that killed a bunch over in the area of Azuna where the people are, over by where the Shadow Song
when you
keep
were
is.
in Legion areas.
Yeah, it was all Legion areas. I haven't done any BFA areas, really, not any DKs yet.
But so yeah, I'm glad they delayed it. I would rather have a polished,
I am too.
done product than what we've been getting.
I'm glad that they have the power to delay
yes.
it.
Well, and that
give refunds and actually have time to polish it. And I really do hope they push out more invites for people that will give meaningful feedback and not just play and bitch about the game. That's really what we all want. But at the same time, like,
well,
I think that it being 3.5 weeks heads up is a bad way to manage a product.
If you read the beta forums, and I do religiously, people give meaningful feedback. Like, especially all the theory crafters, they give meaningful feedback. There is,
and I can't imagine having to comb through there's a finite amount of
Yeah.
people that have that role to be able to filter that, construct it, and produce actual tasks to do things.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine trying to comb through all that, but
Yeah.
maybe they have some sort of better filtration in place or system that actually filters it for them.
I mean, I can't complain because I think druids got the most posts out of like all of the classes. Like it's like there would be, multiple blue posts regarding druid changes. Like at the beginning when they started doing it, like, I mean, it was just ridiculous how many and people were very like, our theory crafters went in and they're like, look, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is why we don't like this is why we don't like that, blah blah blah. And they're not trying to make druids overpowered, they're trying to make them competitive but not overpowered, and they offer,
which is
other
really
things.
a moot point because they're just so bad.
Well, they are now, and they're going to be terrible in pre-patch. It's going to suck because
I mean, when you hit terrible, you're just terrible, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that is now my name in Discord because, I'm terrible. Yeah. Well, it just feels bad.
and it's funny because you can shapeshift into other terribles too.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
That is. I mean, that's the only thing I'm really looking forward to in the pre-patch is that I can shapeshift into Glowy Kitty and Steroid Bear while in balance.
One thing
And
before we
Resto.
get too far away from it, though, is another reason why perhaps the announcement was so late in the game could have been a lot of pushback from Activision.
Sure.
How much red tape or pushback did Blizzard have to go through to even get to the point where Activision would, step back and go, okay, you know what, this is the right decision? How many people did they have to argue with?
Yeah, I mean,
were
maybe
probably-
so. I mean,
mean,
I'm hoping it's the other way around and they're getting their asses lit for not.
There was probably a lot of number crunching going into that, though. Like, if we lose this many people or blah, 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 due to a shitty patch coming or a shitty thing coming out, blah, 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 then, I mean, there was probably a lot of forecasting.
And hopefully it's not the bad situation where they've been in a crunch mode for the last month trying to meet that target date.
Oh, they probably
and
have
then they
been.
decided to reel it back because
it's-
that's bullshit.
Well,
But
It's
it's
still-
probably
it's still
going to
gonna be
still be
crunch.
crunch. Yeah.
just not as crunch.
I mean,
a managed crunch, right?
Right.
There's a
hopefully.
huge difference between saying we're going to deliver on this date and
Well,
push,
And isn't-
whenever somebody already knows you're not going to make it regardless of
Isn't-
the amount of work that you put into it.
isn't crunch just basically there because time was mismanaged? I mean, isn't that basically...
Out of scope, mismanaged, it's all...
I mean, you have any number of things.
I
Like,
mean,
you could have
I'm
some-
looking at it from an outsider perspective, but from an outsider perspective who doesn't actually actively participate in anything like that, it looks like crunch is kind of all the things that didn't get handled or everything kind of...
Yeah, and that right,
And that
that could
seems
be
like time
they've
management.
scoped way too much work to do within the time frame,
Right.
which is probably the most likely case.
Wouldn't that be a
Or- I mean,
management
or-
issue, though? Like,
it happens all the time. It happens.
sure, it might
at
happen all the
work,
time.
and it's just sometimes you think something is gonna be easier than it turns out to be. There
Okay.
are sometimes there are hidden pitfalls when you're
Okay,
developing.
all right. Okay, fair enough. Like code.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you get
this
more
is all
bugs
like common.
from...
It's all mostly common knowledge, but my point is like,
It's common knowledge, but nobody ever fucking acknowledges it.
well, that's fine.
Well, it's
what
not
I'm trying
common
to say
knowledge
is
to
that
me.
like the date could have been pushed back a long time ago, or maybe even before it was announced. Right? I don't remember when it was announced. June or July?
It wasn't that long ago, was it?
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Anyways, like it just shouldn't have. They shouldn't have waited this long. It should have already been caught. And obviously, like we know because we're in the non-gaming software industry that.
Oh no, it's a fucking.
Two-thirds
game. I'm
of us
sorry,
are.
It's not. You're right. It's not a game, but it's a fucking joke.
But still, like it's a situation where if you're already 3/4 of the way through, and you thought you'd be done, let's say in a year, and you're 10 months in, and you're not going to be done in a year, like.
I mean,
damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
I'm just guessing they were just fingers crossed right until the end. They're like, maybe we'll make it. Maybe we'll make it. Maybe we'll make it. And then they just hit something.
Think of the scale of this game and what goes into it to update everything to be able to launch this product. 3.5 weeks out,
right?
Somebody fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I'm glad they could do it, but and I'm glad they're giving people their money back because people have the right to.
It's not quite the same thing, but so Larian Studios is the developer. They did all the original Sin games, or the Divinity games and original Sin games, and they're doing Baldur's Gate 3, and they were slated for a September 30th early access release date, right? Well, they pushed it back. I think it was originally supposed to be in August, and then it was announced September 30th, and I think that was when I first heard about it, and it was like a week or two ago that they announced that it was getting pushed back. So, now granted, it's not a complete game and all that stuff, but in this industry, you probably have to wait to the last minute just in case somebody pulls a miracle off, so to speak. And, because it's probably one of those things where, like, the first person to the press gets the glory kind of thing or something like that. It's so competitive with all these other titles, and they probably wanted to have something out before some of the other games are coming out, so most likely it's like they had just hopes beyond hope that they were going to hit these milestones they needed to be like, yeah, we can release. And this was probably the final abort phase, right? Like, once you got past that point, there was no way you could save face aborting. Like, if you were to wait till October 21st and be like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and delay, I mean, that would have been a shitstorm. Even more so than what's going on now. And then...
Or if they had shipped a faulty product. And
right.
It was unplayable.
Well, I think that they have been getting enough flack about that there's enough people there that have looked at things and gone, we've gone through a couple of iterations of doing this and then having to have whatever. Let's just go ahead and pull it off the table and push it back, this time. And, at least publicly they're going to look, somewhat better, whether or not it really has any effect on the game. I mean, if they don't make the changes that, the vocal majority are complaining about, then it's all for naught because, those people are still just going to bitch about it, but, people think that they're going to, this just means that people that are expecting or have been complaining about certain things now have this glimmer of hope that perhaps those changes or those issues are going to get addressed, when in all likelihood they're not.
Yeah, no, because that's people talking about class changes and tuning. It's not fixes. It's tuning.
Well, the major thing is that people want all the Covenant abilities removed from the Covenants and just be a big pool of abilities that you have access to.
Yeah.
Regardless of Covenant. That's never going to happen. That's just not going to happen.
Isn't that the primary gimmick, this expansion?
Yeah. They shouldn't have gimmicks. I am so sick of borrowed power.
It would be fine if they had some way to persist it in some manner, but they probably don't. And
why can't it be secondary professions that we get borrowed power on?
First aid, cooking.
First aid, yes.
Yeah, that they removed.
Yeah.
As a right bandages. Oh wait, they did?
Rip bandages. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Only tailors can make bandages now.
Mm-hmm.
First aid's gone, dude. That's why and a Legion.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we spent all of Legion. We spent the last bit of Legion getting the field medic.
Yeah, the field medic title.
Because it was going to be become a feat of strength.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time doing whatever. Was it making bandages?
We did make a bunch of bandages.
Did we have to heal people too?
We had to go and heal people. We had to go and get
there was like
bandages.
A bunch of like hidden people that you had to go
kill
farm to
mobs to
It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
But I did it.
Yep. because we're suckers.
They should have empowered archaeology.
Frick archaeology.
Because what the
more
fuck does
mounts.
archaeology make sense in the Shadowlands? Tell me that.
Yeah.
You get to learn a lot about. I
Dead
mean, is there even archaeology in BFA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't done any of it.
I haven't either. I haven't done archaeology since I farmed up my stupid recipe to be able to make the
Sandstone Drake.
sandstone. Yeah.
I think you just made me that, and I never got the recipe.
Yeah.
I did get the fossilized raptors though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one too.
I spent so much time farming for that recipe that
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm burnt out. And then really, I don't
Oh, then
play.
Ekaro, the ghost moose,
Oh,
spirit moose.
yeah.
Do you have
That's
it
an
for
easy
that?
one. Hmm?
I know I had that one. I don't remember how I got it.
It was.
It's a archaeology thing in a certain that comes up once every couple of months.
Yeah.
You have to go do a bunch of
I
archaeology.
know we saw
sites.
something on Wowhead, and then we wound up going and getting it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have
okay,
to farm
yeah.
a bunch of bones.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get the moose from
Cool, Dan.
the raid.
Oh, the
Huh?
friendship moose.
Yeah, from Hellfire Citadel.
Yeah.
We did that. That was
That was a lot of.
who was running those?
That was automatic Jack.
Yeah, he was doing basically like a lottery system, and you'd
I
go-
sat in line with some Twitch streamer for a long time. Never got it.
I got
Jim
in it,
got
and
in
then got
first.
DC'd immediately.
Yep. Yeah.
Really?
And they were like, "Is he there?" And she's like
I'm
in the
like,
chat,
"He's
like
there.
he's logging back.
He's logging back in.
I'm like,
Oh,
He got his first, and then I got mine.
she was upset.
that's awesome.
I was upset. He got his
She's like,
first.
"I'm never gonna get it."
I
And then
was.
she got
I
it,
was
like, the
like,
next
I'm
time.
never gonna get it. I'm never gonna get it. Yep. And then we decided that we should do ahead of the curve stuff on our own to get our own mounts instead of relying on stuff like that.
Well, then we started doing that stuff with the other group, and that was fine because we were doing that pretty regularly. And then we've been doing it with our guild,
Yep.
which
So, well, that's a good question. So let me ask: does corruption still get
it's gone. 9.0 comes out, it's gone.
Yay!
for this like on the 14th, right, or 13th? Or
13th,
Yes.
yeah, it's gone.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Yep.
if you have any Azurite pieces that have Heart of Darkness on them, find a different trait.
Yep.
Because that's not going to, because that relies on you having a certain amount of corruption.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait till it's gone. Oh, actually, I
Yeah,
don't even
can't
know why
either.
it.
I guess.
I don't even know why it matters. It's not going to matter because so
No, it's going to make
For-
tanks shit because they're not going to have Twilight Dev.
for balanced for balanced druids, the trait that we rely on, the trait that is on every single one of our Azurite pieces is Streaking Stars. And what that is whenever celestial alignment or incarnation goes off, you have to cast spells that you can't cast the same spell in a row. Every time you cast a different spell, it adds more damage to that spell, right? So it's great because it gives us more damage, and that it has to be on every single one of our things. Well, with the changes coming up in Shadowlands, druids are going back to an eclipse system, and so you're not casting alternating spells. You're casting, Wrath twice to get into a lunar eclipse, and then you're spamming Starfire for 12 seconds, the same spell in a row. So where does that leave Streaking Stars? So sure, we still have our Azurite, but now our core...
Does all of your pieces have that on there?
Yes!
That's
That's
been
the
the
main...
setup.
That has been the... That's been the...
The meta.
Well,
Or-
it's been what's propped balance up. It's been what's kept balance competitive is that trait during this expansion. So yeah. So now it's like great. So I don't know where that's gonna leave us. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, the pre-patch time is meant to kind of be downtime. So the whole having to be at peak performance for raiding and all that kind of stuff and doing max damage.
Sure, but if you're
Is-
still doing progression, which we are,
Well, yeah, because reasons, but I mean, it's not intended at that point, because at that point, you know,
Well, a lot of times in the past too, whenever the pre-patch came out, it was typically you were typically boosted, not taken away.
Yeah.
They're nerfing all the raid instances and stuff like that to compensate for the lost power, right, from corruption and all that stuff. So everything's getting nerfed down. The things are going to do less damage and have less health and all that kind of stuff. So things might get easier, except for Xanish, because it's not a
DPS fight. It's a mechanics fight. Yeah.
Because if you don't do your interrupts or you don't kick your balls right, then
doesn't matter how much damage you do, unless you can like one-shot her or kill her before the first soccer ball goes out. No, I know that'd be great, but it's not going to happen.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's going to be kind of for a while, but I'm sure there'll be some sort of happy medium to get by until it, and it just, I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to what like the DK changes are going to be. It's probably not going to be anything super major. That's going to really be.
Just feels bad to go from up near the top of the meters to down at the bottom of the meters. That's all. It's just but it's not a great feeling.
But at that point,
well, that's what like if the pre-patch time period is much longer than
you have much longer of that bad feeling.
That is going to be bad, but otherwise, like, you know, you consider it just a reset to prepare for the next
right
exponential.
And that's fine
increase.
if it was just the 3 weeks that we had to put up with it, that was okay. But now it's an undetermined amount of time that we have to put up with it, and it's like, you know,
not to exceed 8.
Yeah. Right. Like, I mean, Mythic Plus, blah, blah, blah. If you still want to be doing that, which we haven't been doing because...
No. But I mean, but at that point, anything for pushing high keys is pointless because you're not going to get... At this point, we wouldn't really get much of an upgrade for the keys that we do. Do-do.
Do-do.
Yeah. Oh, we're like
hi, we're 12.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just like any of the achievements that you can do as far as completing keys at a certain level or anything like that aren't going to be available anymore. So, yeah, we can still do progression. We can still do keys and all that stuff. But at that point, it really should just be for fun, and we shouldn't be watching our damage meters.
I don't. I turn them off during fights. And then I look at them after.
Yes.
And she gets depressed.
And then I will.
God damn it, why is the other boomkin beating me?
Freaking corruption. Stupid. That stupid Infinite Stars corruption. I hate it so much. I refuse to get it.
I just hate mine because I got so much now that when the dude hits me, it pops an eyeball out. Mm-hmm. And I die nonstop when I go solo regular dungeons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing the thing where I just keep it under 40.
Yeah.
So
I always kept it under 40.
Yeah, I'm over 60, I think.
I did it once with I just had corruption in every slot, and it was horrible. I just wanted to see how big the circle got. It gets very big. You can't get out of it.
The one I have right now is I don't remember exactly how much I have, but I have to heroic leap out of it to not die.
And you turn very red. I
haven't turned red yet. Red. I'm like a tick under turning red.
Yep. You turned very, very red. It was fun to try it, and I was like, okay, and then and that was it.
I watched a video. It was a demon hunter who decided he was going to go for 150 or 160 corruption, max corruption that he could get, and just go do some PvP. And he just had so much infinite stars. There would be times where he would just destroy people, and then sometimes he would just melt.
Yeah. Because you can't get any healing.
It was.
I think I met him earlier because somebody hit me for $500,000.
Oh, that could have been a Twilight dev though.
There's boomkins that are doing that.
Because my Twilight devs will crit for something like that.
Like
It was. I know it was a demon hunter, and I saw the whatever hit me, and I don't remember what it was called. Because I looked at it, I'm like, what the fuck?
There's a
It was
boomkin that was like
something thousand.
one-shotting people. Like just coming up to people. It requires preparation, right? So you need to do a bunch of stuff and you need to switch specs and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it required a lot of setup. But yeah, he would just go around like one-shotting people. It was like, what? I think it was on like Wowhead or something. They were talking about like his whole, what he needed to do. He did it with a bunch of other classes too. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, they need to get rid of that shit. That's annoying.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like end of X-Pack shenanigans.
Yeah, it's people just going out and just
Seeing.
dicking around with the system, seeing what kind of weird shit
like,
they can do.
This is
Yeah.
like much more powerful than
Yeah.
a lot of shit we've had in the past, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like the only like last expansion, the only thing I could solo dungeons with was a Death Knight, and that was when I had the high level gear for the low level characters before 110, because these stats would scale up
Oh, yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So the base item level for 110, you could get it like 101 or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I got those, and it buffed me up enough to be able to solo. I remember soloing trial or whatever.
Yeah, because they were having people do it during leveling. They would boost people. They would stay at a certain level, and they had to like fix that, I think.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
You could be like 101 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like when did legendaries cut off?
115.
So yeah, you could get up to there and still have like legendaries from BFA.
Mm-hmm.
Were they still good at that point?
Mm-hmm.
The effects.
And the stats. The stats
and
were
the effects, yeah.
stats were
I
were
kept
in
my
some
demon
cases-
hunter because I had that stupid
Yeah.
demon fear, whatever, the ice thing that replenishes your health or something like that. I'd round up a bunch of the monkeys and
Oh, you were doing the leather farm, right?
Yeah. I'd go around, get them all, and they would just heal right back up and never
Yep.
die. And that was like a 112 whenever I was doing that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I kept a lot of my legendaries until 120 just because the stats were better than the ones that I was even getting from, like quest stuff and everything, So I would, but then I wouldn't have anything to put in that slot when I hit 120. I'd have to go and get, good gear because it wasn't worth it. But I don't know. So
I bitched about them. Well, when I was pissed off about it yesterday, I said at least the least they could do was keep the rep bonus going,
Which they
and
are.
they kept the rep bonus going.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
only
that's
going to
good.
go until the 13th, though, right? Or is it going until launch?
I thought it was a whole month. Let me double check.
I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter one way or the other, because
entirety of October.
okay,
Yeah.
well that means it's not coming out until November then, because they wouldn't leave a rough like that buff active.
I mean, it
during...
wouldn't have come out until November anyway.
I mean, if they dropped
it was
it,
originally
like,
going to be
on
October
Halloween,
26th.
then fuck you.
And they're not going to just, okay, we're just going to,
I
push
would
it back
intentionally
5
go
days.
play some stupid Korean MMO just to be pissed off at them.
Blade and Soul.
Oh God, no.
Oh God.
I had such high
No.
hopes for that game.
It's okay, Brian. We'll be doing islands soon enough.
I know. I wish you'd hurry up. I'm really
I'm at like
excited about
105 already on that guy.
Well, I want to do
My
Islands
last one,
too.
yeah. We'll do islands, and then when you
that. Oh my
don't
God.
want
I want to pull the whole thing. Like
Okay.
I want to try to pull the whole thing at one time.
Okay.
I've gotten like half an island before. It depends on the island, obviously, but
Yeah.
the one that's like a Zuna, I could pull half the island.
Well,
I haven't done
And-
them in so long.
frickin' Resto isn't jacked up, so I can at least go Resto and frickin',
Oh, it's awesome with the stupid when you kill something, you get the healing ability that activates on a warrior.
Yeah.
You just spam the shit out of that whenever
Victory
you.
Rush. And
Yeah.
you kill a Victory Rush.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
kill something with a Victory Rush and get another one.
Oh, it's just nonstop. So you just sit and smash it the whole time whenever you're.
It's kind of like
that's because of the corruption and all that shit.
it's kind of like that on
Corruption and the shields from the Azerite gear.
Yeah.
Are so crazy.
It's kind of like that with an unholy DK, because once things start dying, you get Death Strike, free procs, and you just keep hitting that, and you just keep
It's
killing.
amazing.
Oh yeah, I do.
Such fun.
I like DKs.
I know you do. Just like I like druids, even though everybody hates them.
I don't think you like druids as much.
I just don't play as much as you. It doesn't mean I don't like them as much. But what else were we going to talk about? Oh, Method. Did you hear about Method?
He was trying to explain it to me earlier.
I had to explain to him what
kept up with it.
happened to Method initially.
Oh,
Was there was a bunch of sexual assault and other
Were they the ones that were like streaming Mythic?
like
Yes.
world first race? Yeah,
They were the ones
it was
who started.
Method and
yes.
what was the other one?
Limit?
Limit. Yeah.
For Nazoth?
Yeah.
Well, I think Method did
Limit.
the last couple of ones, didn't they?
Yeah. They did the entire expansion.
I think Limit just did.
Limit
Nazoth.
just started doing it.
Yeah, but they had like a big corporation and all that stuff built up, and I'm not sure when it happened. But
June.
when the event happened,
Yep.
or when they went
No,
down.
when June was when everything happened, when everything blew up.
Right. So at some point in their history, there was some person in their organization, probably on their main raid team, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the names. I don't care. Did some stuff with
Yeah,
some.
you do. Don't lie.
I don't remember the names.
I do.
No, I said you care.
I really don't.
He really
You
doesn't
do.
care. I used to watch one of the people.
I mean, I'd
So.
watch a little bit of their stuff, but basically there was some sexual assault allegations and impropriety and all this stuff, and it got reported to their organization, which then kind of got
Swept under the-
shuffled around, swept under the rug, kind of back alley, just kind of smoothed over kind of thing, and eventually it came out to the public, and then basically the whole thing collapsed.
Sure, all the people left because, of course, you're going to have to leave.
People wanted to disassociate with
Right.
the group and then with the company and the name and all that stuff because
They made a new guild with basically all the people from Method that
Wait, so
were
they
in the
had
Exodus.
they had a company or an organization?
It is an organization. Method is an organization.
it's the guild,
It's a guild and an organization.
but they have a company that they run which does all their stuff for like their streaming and their sponsorship stuff, and they have like that
So why wouldn't they just remove that individual, make the announcement,
because
and form better policies to help protect against that?
That's what they've done.
but the reason they didn't do it before was
But
because
the shady shit is where you take a company
Yeah.
and you disband it, and then you start another one
Right.
with this many people, and the problem isn't solved. That's shady.
Well, no, because this went on for a while and nothing happened with this person or anything until the victim went public with it. So they tried to handle it internally with the company and deal with it. Nothing happened, so they went public, and then it just blew up. Right?
Okay, so a subset of people that actually were trying to fight something formed another one. Is that what you're saying?
No. When
No.
all the bad shit happened, they left. They just quit because it was a sinking ship.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, all the raiders from Method left Method because a lot of them are streamers and their sponsorships and stuff would be in jeopardy if they stayed associated with the Method.
Yeah, no, that all makes
Right.
sense. So
Right.
all these people that were trying to fight the issue, or
No.
or
They didn't necessarily know about it. They just, when the ship broke, they left because they were,
It
just-
wasn't.
so a bunch of people just said, I don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah.
Ugh. And now this whole issue over here from the original issue is still there.
No.
Nothing ever got solved.
No,
and
No,
people are
that
just
guy's
disassociated.
gone. No, they got rid of the guy and all that stuff.
Oh
was
yeah,
removed and all that
he was.
stuff.
I mean, everybody was basically removed. Probably, I think.
No, they dealt with it. They didn't initially deal with it, which is what they should
is-
have done.
right.
But because they did not,
They didn't deal with it until it blew up.
so, but at that point in time, when they finally had to deal with it because everything became public, the fact that the people that were contacted
Did
about it and did nothing just threw the whole company and the whole guild in a bad light. So everybody that was just like, wait, this didn't know that this was going on, which is the majority of the raid
raiders.
team,
Yeah.
or people who weren't necessarily super familiar with the person that committed the offense, or part of the governing body that was receiving the complaints and all that stuff, left. They left disassociated from it, and they all still wanted to play together, and they started a new guild.
Yeah.
But the company didn't
So
fold or anything like that.
So what happened was, now Method, as the company, as a brand, is they have spent the last 4 months, supposedly, coming up with, basically they got themselves an HR department. Now they have handbooks and they have people to deal with this stuff. And apparently, one of the people is a co-founder, I think, of the guild. So they can't get rid of him. People are like, buy him out, but they can't buy him out if he doesn't want to sell, right? Like
So he's got some sort of controlling interest in it.
Well, he's like a co-founder or something
and
like that.
He's one of the people that was that was causing the issues.
Yeah, well, that there was something regarding him. I don't really want to say because I don't know what happened, and I just read stuff, but I don't know, so I don't want to, Anyway, so they announced they're basically looking for people to raid. Their intention is, by the end of Shadowlands, to be a competitive world first guild. So
yeah, they're basically trying to rebuild.
Yep.
So why is this important?
No, it was interesting.
They were a huge
name. I mean, Method was a huge name, like, in competitive rating. I mean, they won every single world first except for this last one, because Limit got that one.
Were they not one of the ones that were what was it, in Cataclysm, whenever they were cheating the LFR system or the extra loot system? Oh, if you could go back in time, I remember it because I'm like, this is garbage. I don't want to read about this.
It
was the race of the world first for one of the raids. It would have been the last one because that's when LFR came out.
A Dragon Soul?
Dragon Soul, yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember any.
There was another guild that did this for a while and stopped.
Oh yeah,
a few years ago.
That did, like, a few years ago. I mean, there was that one beginning with a P. Paragon.
Paragon.
That was in Wrath, though, I think, right?
No, there was the.
I'm not saying it was them, but there was somebody. It was one of those guilds that does the race for the world first, and they were. I don't know if they got in trouble or something like that for cheating.
Right.
Cheating one of the loot systems.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Blizzard basically made freaking BOEs, a cash thing. You buy cash and then you buy the BOEs, and they basically enabled with this last stuff. So people they spent a lot of real life money on tokens to be able to buy these BOEs from people. Like,
which BOEs are you talking about?
All the corruption ones, when the corruption stuff first came out, like all the stuff that was best in slot corruption. So they spent a lot of real life money.
Anytime you can buy gear like that,
to
give yourself the edge, that's just kind of like, man, get the fuck out of here.
That was a bad thing that
and that sucks because that wasn't intentional at all.
But somebody had to think about it. I mean, think about how competitive people are in those world first guilds.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think
how do you not think, oh, we're going to put this in there?
The same people that just delayed the expansion 3.5 weeks out, so I have no faith in prediction.
Brian, it is not the people working on the game's fault.
No, right? I'm not saying that.
It's never... Sorry, I don't want to say never, but it's usually not an issue with the devs.
Yeah.
It's usually
upper management. Yeah. It's sad, but it is because
it is. You got management that's just garbage, and they push stuff and they set dates and all the other stuff, and they expect the developers to just fall in line and march to the beat of their drum, even though it's just stupid and makes no sense and it's impractical and it's nigh impossible. Yeah. It's like, sorry, my mental health isn't worth, the amount of praise you think you're going to get for something like this that nobody even really wants.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Did you see that there's another book coming out? Not a storybook, I don't guess, but Exploring Azeroth.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Another,
it's a Magni one? Is it follow Magni?
It also got pushed back.
Did it really?
Oh, no. That's the one that's going to have...
it says
the Spy Master...
Azeroth, Eastern Kingdoms.
Yes, it's going to be... It's going to have the Flynn and the other guy. It's going to be Exploring Eastern Kingdom, the Spy Master, Flynn and Shaw.
Yeah.
It's basically going to be a vehicle for their friendship / whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's going to explore the Eastern Kingdoms, but it's going to be them. I remember reading about that a while ago. So it's going to kind of be like
I'm excited.
a story in a story.
Well, if one were so eager to predict another date, you could make some relative guesses based on how soon they pushed it back, because they pushed it from the 20th of October to the 24th of November. So speaking relatively...
the 30th of November?
30th, first week of December-ish?
Yeah. I mean...
Go to Thanksgiving, come back, push the publish button.
I don't know.
I would be so happy if it was pushed back to 2021. I know that's not a popular opinion and everybody would hate it, but I would love it if it was.
Right. I mean, but what are you basing that on? I mean, do you really feel like there's that? I mean, you do have to remember, like...
No, she wants to be done with school.
I want to be done school. That's all. I just don't want to have to study for my
I would love for it to
exam.
come out before Thanksgiving so that I could spend Thanksgiving week.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not popular, and it is absolutely selfish on my part. But that's what when they said they
were. If you think they're gonna fix druids, no, they're gonna hopefully delete them.
Oh God, man!
I mean, come on.
I like my druids. I have a dino druid.
I don't care. Ever since I've seen a druid be able to fly to herb, and mine.
Get yourself a fucking sky golem.
You can do it too.
It's a goddamn mount.
And
I never finished building it.
Well,
that was the one for
What
this.
fun is that? God, you can buy one.
I'm too cheap.
Oh well, you have the option to be able to fly.
I don't want to fly it. That's the one
right?
that zooms back and forth, and it's so stupid looking.
You could also make a druid and do that
no,
too.
No, absolutely.
I mean,
Brian,
it amazes me.
Brian, make a druid.
People like talk about that, and I'm like, you can make a druid too. There's nothing stopping you from it. Or you can use a sky golem. If you're
I don't want to be a druid on my warrior.
Okay, but if you're just get a sky golem.
And I don't want a sky golem.
if you're just out there on, I mean, I can't be a druid and be on any other mount, and I have to be in flight
You should
form.
be able to.
Why?
You should be able to get in travel form and ride another mount.
That would be fun.
No, it's funny because if a druid in travel form mounts onto a mount that can carry other people, you can't mount them. It's a bug.
Oh yeah. So I have the
I know this from experience.
the repair mount
on live or
on live. Yeah. So I will get onto the yak and repair, and then I will just hit travel form instead of getting off of the mount. I'll just hit travel form and I'll just turn into a moose. And then Jim tries to mount me and he's like, I can't get on you. I have to go out of the form and then go back on.
Completely out of context.
Okay, you're very funny. Ha ha.
That's
very
gonna be
funny.
the start of the episode.
You're very
and then
funny.
Jim tries to mount me.
Oh my God. My character.
And that's staying in.
That's so fun.
Anyway, and he can't. And he's like, I'm like, okay, just mount me. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Yeah,
we
it's
are
a
not
funny,
12, we are 9.
It's a funny little bug. but it is a bug that is still in the
She called it
game, and
little.
That's crazy.
and it has been reported, and it's still in the game. So
I mean,
you know.
there's all kind of.
Well, they
little-
pushed back just for that bug. So
Yeah, I'm
that's all that
sure.
matters.
I'm sure they care about that. That's been in,
You know why they really pushed it back? This is.
Are you gonna
I
make
have
fun of
it-
druids?
I have this. Nope. I have this on
Yeah, it's
good
already
authority.
played out.
Yeah.
I have this on good authority. They're redoing the character customization, and they're going to give Torrens more flowers in their hair.
Shut up. I am so mad about that. Like that.
Yeah, they gave him a flower.
They gave him one
I'm
flower.
so
I want
pretty,
flowers in
oh,
my
so
beard.
pretty.
If you had flowers in your beard as a Torn, you would eat them.
I want that. Okay.
They-
What is
so
wrong with having
they
a
would-
snack?
They wouldn't be there if they allowed druids. I'm sorry. If they allowed
It
Torrens
They
could be
have-
the idle emote.
the male-
to pick flowers and eat
Plucks
them,
it out
The
and
male
eats it.
night elves in their beards have tons of vines and leaves and shit. Male Tauren should have in theirs flowers. It's
It's
They
They also gave night elves burn scars.
yeah, I know.
So,
I know, that's awesome. Oh
Yes.
yeah, it's called
Wow.
Teldrassil, and it's like right on the left side of the face. Yes,
Oh wow.
yeah, that's what I was rocking. Yep.
Interesting.
My dude was and vines.
I mean, which is
and-
neat that they're giving characters customizations
No, I
that
I
reflect
love that.
a
That's awesome.
real world event.
Yeah.
You know,
Or they're giving undead the new undead eyeballs, so I'm happy about
or
that.
like no eyeballs,
Oh yes. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's
empty
so
sockets,
awesome.
then
And you can be closer to humanoid
Yeah.
than a
Yeah.
skeleton, which I like
I
as
don't
well.
mind the bones. I kind of like the bones.
Well,
I
I,
wish
do
you
too in
could-
certain situations, but being able to actually be that's why I still wish you could be some form of a paladin as undead as well, because we've already seen the scale of which an undead can still be.
Part of the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
So
I wish you could have bones in different places. So say you wanted like your left
Yeah.
shoulder. Oh my
Shut up.
Jesus. I wish you could
Oh, my
have
goodness.
like your right shoulder, sticking out.
there's enough
like-
whiskey there probably to make that come true.
You know what I mean? Or if you just wanted to show a little clavicle, you could just, peel away like the clavicle area or, a little hip bone.
Or have like the
you
jaw
know.
actually dangle whenever you're running or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, that'd
have
be
it
cool.
fall off randomly.
What they should do.
Pick it back up.
Pick it
is
back up.
for undead. Well, like one of the DK's abomination that they summon. If it's standing idle, its arm will fall off and it'll pick it up and put it back on.
Oh, that's awesome.
But what they should do for undead models is they should give you basically like a clay version of it that's a full cover, and then you have an exposed tool that you can expose parts of it.
Parts that you want exposed.
But most of it's just
That's
going to be
funny.
covered by
I just want a cheekbone
armoring.
showing,
Yeah.
ankle
that'd be
bone.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess bringing it back full circle, yeah, WoW got pushed back. Shadowlands got delayed. So, all right, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that's about
Sounds
it.
fun.
I got more times to get DKs done.
Yeah.
And then if I get them all to 110, I can get some of them up doing islands before the 13th and the rest of them up on islands afterwards. And
You'll
just
have
be,
your DK army
it'll
of
be
120s
stupid.
ready for.
Nope, they'll all be 50s.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Are we going? We're getting the level squish too. With
Yep.
them? Okay.
All the main core functionality of the game that's going to be present everywhere else is going.
Oh, that's right.
live
So the
on
new
pre-patch.
leveling experience is going live,
Exiles
so I
Reach.
can level up some of my characters
Well,
too. Because I wanted to. I
If
wanted
they're not
to.
level 1, I don't know if you can go
What's
to
the actual
Exiles.
date? Is
I
it
don't wanna go
13th
to
or
Exile
14th?
Reach.
13th. It's that Tuesday.
I don't want to go to Exiles Reach, but
Oh.
I'm just talking about the new leveling experience, not the island, but the new being
Yeah,
able
it's
to
October
choose
13th.
where you want to go and level through a story. And how does that work if you're, say, you're level
You finish it sooner.
45,
And you-
right? If they're supposed to go like an X pack is supposed to be, does that take you all the way to
10 to 50.
10 to 50? So how
You're
does
gonna
that
be done
go
super
when you're
fast.
45 and you're in going to Wrath? I mean, do you just go right to?
Ooh, Well, with Shadowlands,
It says
Ice Crown?
It says
or
here.
do you start at
It
the...
says here that right now, Chromie will automatically disable and gives them a minute to port to Ogrimmar or Stormwind when they hit level 50.
oh no, that's at the end of when you're doing the time stuff. If you
Yeah.
talk to Chromie and you go in and you're doing stuff in that manner where you're doing a certain X pack, the minute you hit 50, it takes you out, even if you haven't finished it. Which that is a complaint that people have.
Oh, I
Because
didn't realize that.
because
So
the
you don't
whole-
get to finish the story.
Right, the whole point was to tell a story.
Right.
So the whole point is to finish it. So people are like, so maybe that's part of the reason why they're doing this, because they have to redo all that stuff to make it so that if you started at level 10, you're not going to get to level 50 until you finish it.
Well, even still, like, who cares about that? Like, just
A lot
disable
of
the
people
experience there.
That was a bug, or that was a thing that people were doing, is they'd go and disable their XP
Yeah.
so they could finish it.
They should be able to. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Well,
dumb. They would
they-
just throw
they-
them out.
They disabled that.
Why?
I don't know. In the
They
beta-
disabled the disabled XP.
right, like you couldn't disable XP and go do the Chromie stuff.
That's really dumb.
Yeah.
Well, again,
I'm sure they're fixing it. That's silly. There's no way that this is going to play out like that.
they're probably going to revamp it enough so that the XP on the main story stuff. So I don't know if people are doing a bunch of side quests or if they're doing.
I'm about to say, yeah. How far do you actually get in the expand? Like, can you actually do most of the expansion from 10 to 50?
I have no idea. I haven't done it.
Well, maybe that's something to do on
So
PTR.
I started. You can do it in beta.
I can do it in
started
beta. He
doing
could do it
it.
in the PTR.
Oh, can
Yeah.
you do it in beta?
Yeah, you can
Oh,
do it in beta.
okay. Beta.
Yeah,
The thing I don't have? Yeah. Cool. Can I use Jim's beta?
You could do it on the PTR because I was doing it on the PTR.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'll take a look at it and
Yeah.
see. That'll give me something
Yeah.
to do.
It'd be interesting to see.
I was
How
talking
far
about
you get?
Jim. He could do it on beta.
Oh, I'm sorry. The elites is over here rating Mythic,
Please
Oh my God.
get the fuck
having
outta here.
betas.
Rating Mythic. We're like 4, 5,
Yeah,
Five.
no, we're not good.
5 out of 12.
Oh,
We're not
And that
good.
was when we were just
We're not good.
Borean Tundra and Shadow Song.
what does
Now-
that say about me? I've only completed normal.
I
Now-
mean, that's because,
that's because
you don't have
stopped.
time.
That's because you stopped rating
Yeah.
with us. If you had,
Well, I like.
If you would've
I'm
rated-
happy.
I know.
Yeah,
but if
that's
you,
fine.
But if you had done it with us, you would have had ahead of the curve because we did that.
We did do that.
Yeah.
And then we
I-
promptly stopped doing it. We were like, yep, we don't need to killing us off anymore. We got ahead of the curve. We're good. We don't need it anymore.
We could go back and try achievements on normal.
Yeah, we could.
You know what's funny? Before they made the announcement, Jim, you said something to me on Discord, and I'm not sure what it was, but it made me think like we should do like a Halloween extravaganza, like every weekend. Do something. You guys are kind of already doing it on Sundays, right? But I don't know, more than one night a week.
The
But
problem
that's what I
is-
think I asked you about your Mythic rating nights. If you guys were going to slow down on that,
Mm-mm.
because I thought maybe that would be something.
Yeah, Tuesdays and
into.
Thursdays are.
The problem is I don't know if we would have enough people to do anything because a lot of people aren't really on.
Well,
right
that's
now.
what I meant. Like advertise it to get ready for, like get people hyped up to play again.
Yeah, and I think the reason we settled on Sundays was because that was the most convenient day for everybody. As far as that, so I mean, we could do some stuff. I don't know. We could just do a guild trick or treating run. Everybody turns on
There
war
you go.
mode, and we just go kill lobies at trick or treating.
Oh my God, that
Thanks.
sounds terrible.
Sounds fucking amazing.
No, it does not. That is
I have been killed so many
horrible.
times. It is time to exact my revenge.
Oh my God.
Take your revenge.
I'll be too busy
All
doing
right.
islands.
That's about all we got, right?
I think so. I think
I think we're about juiced out on juicy news, to be honest.
There
it
was
wasn't.
something else, and I can't remember what it. Oh, you said you didn't want to talk about that. Never mind.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
I don't want to talk
Fine.
about that.
It's fine.
That's
It's fine. It's fine.
it's too controversial a
It's fine.
topic.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Well,
It's fine.
I like to say neutral, unbiased, not unbiased. Well, obviously we're biased, especially against tourists.
Druids.
So yeah,
We have it so rough.
Yeah, druids have it so rough. I just
So
it's all that bark skin.
So, do you want to hear a dumb little thing that I did on beta? I'm an idiot.
Okay, this is gonna be the outro. Let's go ahead and have the story.
So, originally when I got onto beta, I was trying out the new customization options for druids. And I did not think that I have, and now I actually have to check on my druid, have the glyph that turns my bear form into multiple forms, right? Like different ones. It's like glyph of the chameleon or whatever. I think it did it with cat too.
Is it like a random one?
It's a random thing for your forms.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, kind of neat, except for I got steroid bear and I'm proud of it. And I just want to roll around a steroid bear, right? So I'm like, all right. So when I first got on to the beta, there was bugs with high mountain torrents and the travel forms and all kinds of stuff. So, and steroid bear wasn't turning into steroid bear. It was just the base form, right? And I was like, oh, this sucks, right? So the other day, I copied a character over and got on to it and went right for the barbershop because first place you got to go. You need Glowy Kitty and Steroid Bear. And I walk out and I check and Glowy Kitty is there in my balance form. Still no Steroid Bear. It flipped me into the purple one. And I'm like, okay. So I tried flipping a couple more times and it flipped random ones and I'm like, what the heck, right? So I looked and I went back in and I tried it, a couple more times, came back out. Finally I looked because I was going to fill out a bug report saying that, and I didn't have that glyph, and I looked and I had that glyph. So I used some vanishing powder on it and removed the glyph and went into bear form and I had steroid bear. I was like, shit. I was so embarrassed.
You still should have filled out a bug report.
I was like, oh my
The
God.
barbershop should tell you if you have that glyph.
If you have that glyph
on,
equipped.
so you know.
Yeah.
'Cause
That was
otherwise-
terrible. I was like, I didn't think I had it because I don't think I have it on live. I don't have it on live. Oh, maybe I do in my balance form, but I don't ever go into that form in my balance form unless, something dire is happening or I need a frenzied regen.
Like a dire bear.
Yeah. So that was kind of dumb, but yeah. Haha, you can laugh at me.
Haha, dumb story of the week. Yay,
I'm
new
a
segment.
dumbass. I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumbass.
Thank goodness, because I thought I would be that every week.
No.
Nope, but you probably will lead us. So
we need one of
sorry.
those boards that tallies, keeps everybody's
Dumbass
story,
whiteboard.
whiteboard. That's it. See, Brian, I think you and I would be tied. I'll be honest.
Yeah. No. Okay.
she's
I
starting.
feel you, man.
She's starting to rack them up.
Yep.
I
feel
All
ya.
right. Well, that's a good point to end. So, all right. I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Bye.
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 Bye.